Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Other question.
Okay. So my first question would be, looking at the last 2 years during this pandemic, I mean, almost 2 years, how has the pandemic affected the statistics of mental health illnesses in Malaysia, to be specific? Yeah.
Okay. Just to get this right first is that everyone will go through mental health challenges.
Yep.
Okay, we all have mental health, because sometimes people say, "Oh, I have no mental health."
Yeah.
When they say that, it's a trigger for me, because definitely this person has something, And
Yeah, exactly.
when they say they have no mental health, I'm like, if you have no mental health, you're not supposed to be alive.
Exactly. I agree with you.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. So it's been there, but because people are not comfortable to talk about it, or they are not, there's not enough advocacy work, there's not enough of education revolve around mental health. So people think that before this there's none, but there's a lot, right? And I'm another way that I'm glad COVID here. I'm not talking about the death toll, or people who are illness, ICU and all that.
Yep.
It's about, when something happens, when there's negativity, there's positivity. So people now start paying attention and focus on their mental well-being, right?
Yep.
And now they are more aware of their thoughts and their emotion. Okay, and it has increased because I'm part of the Talian Kasih. I'm one of the volunteers, and we receive numbers of calls like, just shoot up. Before this, people don't really call, and now it's like every week. I mean, every day, because it's a 24 hours. I receive call at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, because that's the time where people really lonely and all that. And it increased tremendously, because right now you have to stay, husband and wife have to stay, okay, kids have to stay, and last time we still have our space, right? But now you don't really have space, and especially if your personality is different and you cannot accept the other person's personality 24/7, then a lot of things happen, right? So in terms of domestic abuse, okay, increase, child abuse increase, okay, gambling, online shopping, right, has increased. And also when we talk about statistic, right? So when we talk about statistics, there's what we said, that almost 3% of the Malaysian population affected by depression.
Yep.
Okay, and when I say almost 3%, what is this? These are registered and they are in the system. Imagine those who still have stigma, who still feels that they don't have anything, in denial, and is not registered in the system. So the numbers are actually bigger.
Okay.
Right? And people also need to be aware that when we talk about illness and challenges, there's two different things. Mental health challenges, you're unable to sleep, you're unable to cope during a certain period of hours. That's acceptable. But if it's prolonged for more than 2-3 weeks, then you need to reach out. And when we talk about illnesses, it's where a person needs to seek psychiatric treatment.
Understood.
All right.
Okay.
So when you say the statistics, yes, it's increased tremendously. It's because now people are aware of their well-being, and also there's a lot of education on it.
Yeah. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you so much. Yeah, 3% is a really big number actually for our population, considering we only have about around 32 million in our population. And
32 or 8 million.
Yeah, I'll have to fact check that once again.
If it's 38 million, we have like almost 1.1 million people suffers from depression. And imagine the impact, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not only impacting that individual, it also impacts the people around them, especially family members, friends, workplace.
Yeah. So it's really an alarming situation actually, because like you mentioned earlier, nobody in this world will not suffer from at least one mental health issue, like, and they,
Challenge, yeah.
yes, or like they just don't want to acknowledge the fact, because growing up, me growing up in an Asian household, I'm sure a lot of other people, and I don't know if you have experienced this, but like the parents always say that, nah, it's just because of your phone. You're suffering this because of your phone, and they find excuses because they tend to feel like their upbringing, something happened somewhere. They don't want to accept it in their child's point of view. So children are also convinced that, oh yeah, probably I don't have any issues or challenges that I'm facing because my mom said so, my dad said so. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that with me. That's a huge percentage. um my my second question would be, what are the signs and symptoms of mental health illnesses that have been brought to your attention during this pandemic? Like anything in particular, like you mentioned earlier, depression. Do you think anxiety or anything else that was brought to your attention?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to add, yeah, Anura, it's we cannot say that this sign is for depression, and this sign is for anxiety, and this sign is for panic attack or OCD. We cannot do that.
Yep.
Because, for example, if someone has fever, infection in the body, you have fever. Flu, you have fever. Anything that goes wrong in your body, you have fever. So we cannot specifically say that this sign associated with these illnesses. Yeah. But what you can be aware of yourself, of your own process, and also to others, is where suddenly you just want to sleep and you don't want to talk to people. And this go on every day for more than 2 weeks. Okay, you give yourself a time frame of 2 weeks and above, then you need to reach out to people. Yeah, that's a sign. Or substance abuse, meaning, or anything that is abusing them in the sense of too much alcohol, too much drugs, too much smoking, gambling, shopping, pornography, what else? Self-harm, and all these make yourself as a victim, then it's a sign.
Yeah.
A person who isolate themselves and what do you call this? Don't want to mix around, don't want to socialize. So it's a sign. A person who make simple mistake on a very easy task.
Yes.
Okay. Whether they sleep too much or sleep less, or eat too much or eat less, or they try to abuse their body in a certain way, like exercise, so that they don't think about it. Yes. So these are the signs and symptoms where someone needs help. Okay? Yes. In terms of conversation, if a person keep on saying that, I don't think I'm good enough, I don't think, it's better for me to leave so that everyone will feel happy. So if they start these words over and over again, right? Because you need to see the consistency of the words being said. If it's a lot, then it's a sign. Because sometimes people don't do through action.
Yes.
You see, like they drink, they sleep, they don't sleep. It's all through action you can see. But we sometimes pay less attention to what being said.
Yes. Agreed. Completely, yeah.
Right? Yeah. So we need to listen to, okay, so this person been telling that I'm useless, I'm not good enough, repeatedly for many days. Then this person is showing a sign.
Okay.
Okay. See the way do the person laugh, or the person, start looking from your ears, not by being busybody.
Yeah. Agree.
Yeah. But you, when you are being true, and you will be able to recognize if someone have issues.
Yes.
So that's how you need to look at it.
Yeah, thank you so much for really, opening my eyes to that, because I would say that half of the society that don't really understand mental health, they would think of it as, how oh, there's signs and symptoms. Now they probably don't have it, and instead of like trying to empathize and trying to find out, oh, is there something wrong with you, or like you said, it depends on the individual itself, like how they are, because everyone is different. They may even sound different, but they're fine. But some people, they sound different but they are not fine, right? So yes, so it's nice to know that that's actually how it is, instead of what the society, how the society looks at it. So yeah, thank you for clearing that doubt that I had. So
Thanks.
yes, so my third question, okay, that would be, do you feel like whoever that comes to your counselors or comes to you for mental health, any problems that challenges that they face, does it affect you, or any of the counselors affect their mental well-being and their health in a certain way, when somebody comes up to them and speaks about their problems, talks about their problems, and does it affect the therapist, the counselor, or the psychiatrist in any way? Do you think?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So just to share this also, even the counselors or the therapists, or psychiatrists or psychologists, we too have our own challenges.
Yes.
Okay, so we are not like problem proof and all that. Okay, so we go through challenges also. Okay, so there will be possibility of being transference. Transference meaning anything that you go through, if it's similar to what I have gone through, okay, it can it can transfer to me, right? So there are possibility, and that is why the skill is needed to make to make it clear that it's not about the helper. Helper meaning the counselor, psychology, psychiatrist, or anyone. It's not about the helper. It's about the person who seek help. Okay, because we need to understand that if it's about the helper, then the intention is different. The intention is more about the person itself. But right now, it's you needed help. So we need to have that clear boundaries. Okay, we need to understand that, what you call this? We need to understand that it's about them and it's not about us.
Yes.
Okay? That is why even therapists, when I say practitioners, we have our own peer review. We have our own supervising session with our supervisor or anyone who can assist us, because sometimes, without us knowing, subconsciously, the way we look at it will be different.
Yes.
It's like some sort like our own agenda. So that is why we have our own constant peer review, peer supervising session being on. So yes, there are possibilities.
That's nice to know that you have you have peer support, peer reviews, because you guys are humans. So when people come, like for me specifically, I'm gonna give my personal experience on this. When a friend comes up to me and talks to me about their problems, I find it affecting me in a way, because sometimes that a particular problem that is being raised was something that I experienced before, and I don't want to talk about it again. But being after attending the PFA course, I started looking at it in with an open mind. And if you're not comfortable with it, you can always tell them, because you don't want to affect them in a way, because you don't want to be you don't want them to feel lonely and like they don't have anyone to talk to, because they trust you. So you're the first person they come to for help. So I always wonder, how do counselors, psychologists, therapists, how do they deal with this when they have their personal trauma? So I'm so glad that you have peer reviews, peer support. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah, because in this platform where we help others, we need to make sure that we are safe and we help ourselves first.
Yes,
Because if we are not stable, then how can we assist others?
correct, exactly.
Hmm.
So my final question would be, this can be an approximate number. So what is the percentage of those below the age of 18 suffering from mental health during this pandemic? Because, you know, some of their parents might have lost their jobs, and have they come out to seek help regarding their own personal problems that they've been facing?
Okay. You see, parents, grandparents, and all that other generation, right? We are not exposed to mental health.
Mhm.
I mean, my parents don't tell me about, oh, you better take care of your mental health. You know, it's all about better, you better do well in your exam. They don't say you better do well in your mental and emotional well-being, right?
Yes,
So
correct.
we can't blame our parents uh, for what they are going through. Maybe when it comes to family setting, we can in a way, right? But when it comes to mental and emotion, right, they are not trained. Right? They don't know about mental health, you
Yeah.
know, and they have been refrained from showing their emotion also, because remember, from young, boys have been groomed, don't cry, you need to be strong, you need to be macho, don't be like girl, blah 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 blah, and all this stuff.
Yes.
So, you know, we can't blame our parents for their lack of knowledge and understanding in terms of mental health,
Yes.
right? And because of how they have been groomed and brought up during those days. And but right now, I feel that kids nowadays, they have been, my point of view, correct me if I'm wrong, I can be wrong, they have been in a way pampered, because both parents have to go out.
Yes.
So, and the society looks at the mother as if the mother is, you know, not doing anything, just shake legs, you know, not bringing up the kids very well.
Yes.
So the impact is so much, and the society make the mother feels guilty all the time for not spending time with the kids,
Yes. 100%. Yes.
right? Whereby if just one income not enough, you need two income,
Yes.
right? And a lot of pressure being put on the mothers, and therefore, where can they let it out? No one but to the
Exactly.
kids. Okay? And secondly, the guilt for not being there or not doing certain things because of society make parents do things for their kids, shower them with a lot of things. For example, as young as 1 year old have an iPhone, can you
Yeah.
imagine?
Exactly. Yes.
It can be also between the parents group, between the peers who have the most, you know, changgeh phone or whatever it is.
Yes. Correct.
It's a
100%.
competition,
Yes.
right? Because of lack of confidence and lack
Yes.
of support. So, and we also have parents who find it very difficult to let go, because for them, their kids is their identity.
Correct.
They put it together. They don't know how to separate it. Okay?
Yes.
So all this plays a role when it comes to children mental health. So imagine if you don't allow your kid to fail, you don't allow your kid to fall down. When you sit on the table, you take a wet tissue, you wipe everything. I've seen that.
Yes.
And how would these kids later on have the resilience to manage their mental health?
Yes.
And they
100%.
feel that, oh, I'm a what's the word? Yeah, now the word just should fly out already. How to say? Like, you know, it's their rights to get whatever they want. What
Yeah.
what's the word?
Yeah, exactly. There's a word for it. Even
I can't recall the name right now.
same here. I just lost my There's definitely a word for it. I
Yes,
can't
it is a word.
remember.
The thing is just flew. It just
Yes.
okay. So, see, it still want to come in the word. Okay, never mind. It will come later when I do put on effort.
Yes.
I manage my mental health. If I cannot get it now, I put it aside. Talk about
Yes.
other things, right? So they feel that it's their rights to get everything and they don't need to work hard. And if they don't like one thing, they can switch to another one and switch to another one, which I find it ridiculous, right? But there's a lot of areas that you need to look in. The society, the family structure, the relative, the support, all comes in place. So when you talk about that, the suicide numbers, especially between kids, has increased. Okay, and there are 1,708 suicide cases reported from 2019 up to May 2021. Okay, and half of that aged between 15 to 18.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yes, that's a lot, and mostly female. Why female? A lot.
Yes.
Peer pressure, body image, fear of missing out. You don't want to be fit in. So there's a lot of things that's happening once you hit puberty, and the hormones will go haywire. Sometimes you don't understand why you react that way.
Yes, exactly.
So it increased. Also, what kind of support do the kids have?
Yeah.
So that is why it really goes up, and I can't tell you exactly how much the percentage, yeah. But imagine if adult depression is at 3%, the kids may be along that line.
Exactly. Yes. Correct. Yes.
And you need to understand, if a parent or both parents have mental health issues, whether it's depression, anxiety, or whatever, it will impact the kids.
Yes.
And where can the kids, release?
Like you mentioned earlier, like having a mental health challenges also impacts those around you, not just you, but those around you. So yeah, that's for sure. Like, kids nowadays, they tend to be so they don't, like you said, they don't have anywhere else to just vent out their feelings or just rant to somebody. So they tend to be affected. And like you said earlier, like, there's so much toxic masculinity. Sorry, I hope I pronounced that correctly. But how you said that boys have to be macho, they can't cry and stuff like that. It always has a really bad impact on the mothers, because society deems mothers to be, doesn't matter if you work, nobody cares if you work, your kids still have to be to how society morally accepts them, no matter what you do. So it not only does it affect children, adult depression. I read a study somewhere, females have been affected severely, and I'm assuming it could be because of this as well, because of how society expects a mother to be. And for me personally, I like getting any haircuts I like, like, as you can see right now.
I can see your haircut.
Yes.
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 And the other side, let me see. Turn to the side.
Yeah. I love getting thanks. But the problem is, like, the society, my mom, she never accepts any of my haircuts. She finds it that I'm not being very professional. So because I look doing interviews like this, and she says, how are people gonna, first of all, people are not only gonna judge you, they're gonna judge me. I mean her. So so in a way, it's kind of sad that society is such, to the point that we have to really care about not only ourselves, but how it's going to impact my mother. Maybe someone is going to walk up to her randomly and say, is this how you raise your child, a daughter, your daughter who doesn't have, probably doesn't know how to be professional, doesn't know how to dress, and she doesn't look good, you know, and she's probably trying to be a doppelganger or trying to fit into a trends, and you know, this is really it really affects people, you know. So yeah, like you say, it's so it can really affect people and their children. Like my if I were to have my mom right beside me and if with me in this hairstyle, you know, I feel like it can also affect my mental health and my confidence. And you know, it comes in a package, you know, it comes in a family package. Like you are not, you're gonna get you know, judged together. Yeah.
Yeah. But when you see, when you are young, you have no other commitments. You want to explore your hair, you want to explore your dressing and all that.
Yes.
Do. When you get older, you will not even want to do it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So,
Yes.
so that is how, and that is why we need to do all this.
Yes.
So that when you explore, you learn a lot about yourself. You
Correct.
learn about, you know, what suits you, what can you do differently, but in the safe space, in a positive environment.
Yes. Agree completely. Yeah. So I really appreciate everything that you've told me. It's really opened and expanded my knowledge a lot on how mental health is really a challenge, and what how many people have been affected during this pandemic. It's really so such an immense amount of people have been affected. It could be due to a loss of job. You know, how there's no one else to vent to. You are in the same environment for 2 years, you're growing with the same people, meeting the same faces every single day. So yeah, it has really impacted a lot of people. And like you said, you are also a volunteer on Talian Kasi. That is so nice of you to, you know, sacrifice your time to help someone else. So thank you so much for your kind service to the community and the society. I mean, I'm sure everyone is so lucky, you know, to actually have a helpline and have people like you and probably everyone else on your team to talk to. You know, it's nice that we have a helpline, you know, in our country. So thank you so much. I really appreciate everything. Yes. I hope you've answered everything perfectly. I'm so glad. You know, it's. I hope that I have been a good interviewer. And
Yes. You know what? Let's take a picture. You take a picture, then you can go and write about this.
yes, correct. I'll take a photo.
You're gonna take a picture?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll take a screenshot. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, perfect.
So when you write about it, then you just tag me. Then I share it.